Hello. Welcome to me drinking coffee and making video games. Now, today is what I call the big to-do fixing party. What that means is that I have a big to-do list here of things, and we will look at them, some of them, and try to fix them. I will do my classic little dance of trying to post my I need a web browser. I have my second screen here where I do scary things. No, I'm just getting the link to post on Discord. I have my Discord server here. Nice place. You can talk about game dev, talk about my game, post some cat pictures. Very nice. And then I usually, when I start streaming, I paste it in there. There we go. And yeah, put this on the second screen again in case anyone will write something there. So today we're having the big to-do fixing party. I want to release the game on itch.io sometime this month. Sometime this month is not that not that much left anymore, you know. So, well, I'm just muting my phone. How do I mute the phone now again? D&D, that's good. So none of my friends see that I'm streaming, and then they call me. Fun prank. No, that has never happened. This is not my full to-do list. I have gone through this before the stream and picked out stuff that I thought not necessarily stuff that's fun to do on stream, but stuff that is doesn't spoil like the second half of the game. So I'm trying to avoid those parts, and those parts I do off stream. And here is the little game. We can play it a bit. I can show you some stuff I've done. I've done this little intro animation where it zooms out from the cat. That is the cat is sleeping. It's a little stretch, and off you go. So I've done that. I also worked a lot on this tutorial since I've last streamed. I haven't been streaming so much lately because I'm really trying to finish the game, you know. And many of the things I work on, because I try to do that, I've been doing lots of very late game things, and I don't like doing those things on stream and stuff. But I've redone this little tutorial area. So the idea here is that if we teleport up again, you start in this cave, and it shows you either a left arrow, which this is supposed to be the left arrow key. Not sure if that is clear enough, or it's like a analog stick. This is one of not doing this without an animation is maybe tricky. I think I did this on the last stream. This stuff. So actually, it's not a new thing. This we should fix. This little icon here is off the grid, so let's add that. Use button with gamepad is off screen. But yeah, I've also been adding some sounds. I don't have the game muted right now, but been doing some sound stuff, and in general trying to make this tutorial a bit nicer. Trying to teach you how to pick stuff up and use items in the world and stuff. Here, hopefully you notice that you pick this butter thing up down here, this icon here, and then it's here again, and you kind of want to get out of here. So you've learned to cycle the items down here, items and abilities down here already. So hopefully you can do like that and then jump through, and then you're out and about. Yeah. There's also another bug here. There's some tutorial stuff missing here. I think it's because I've redone the order of how things. Let's check that. Is tutorial missing on first level? for switching active item. It's not a good to-do list if you don't get more things. You fix one thing and then you add 2 new things. Yeah. So let's look at some stuff we have in here on this to-do. Can leave the game running maybe up here. I have a hotkey on my computer. I bound it to Control F1. That makes possible for me to put any window that is currently focused, put that on top. It's super handy for do this kind of stream things, or like I don't have a always on top thing in my game, but I can make any window always on top, which is quite handy. So some stuff we have here is use button with gamepad. That's the one just added, and then it's the thing about tutorial text. Then we have some stuttering in the game. I don't know if you could see it in the start. There's something off, and I think it's with how I've tried to do fixed time step physics. So most of the time it's fine, but just sometimes the game starts. It's like the game starts stuttering a bit, and I think it's actually the player character stuttering forward a bit, so the camera is trying to follow it and it's not going correctly. Then I have a item to make the main menu pretty, and stuff like playthrough game, fix all interaction positioning issues. There's lots of stuff here, so we're just gonna pick some stuff and work on it essentially. I'm not gonna read through all this, I realize. Question is which one to start with. Yeah. This is a fun one, animation with water bucket. That means there's one last animation I haven't done. It's the player pouring water on a thing to grow it at some point. But give all entities a name so we can say hello to them. That's pretty funny. But it's not that important. I should have ordered these, I realized, by some kind of severity. But we should do fun things on here, maybe. There's one more tutorial thing that when you get to your first dialogue in the game, it should have some tutorial help. Remove all debug keys from the release mode. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Well, let's start with this, something easy. This button here I saw is off screen when it's, and the question there is, what do you do? Should I move? That's supposed to be the use key. Maybe I move it to the right side. I just thought it was less heavy interface to have it on the left side, and it looks a bit weird when I have it at the bottom because it sort of gets too tight around here. I could put it here instead. Or maybe it should go more on top so it can't go outside. Let's try putting it on top and see how that looks. That's one of the ones I haven't tried doing. So as usual, I'm programming in Odin programming language, which uses Raylib for rendering. Quite a simple setup, really. I have worked for many years as a professional game engine programmer, and so for many years I got stuck sort of like always trying to, whenever I wanted to make a game from scratch, sort of, or what you want to call it, I was always wanted to make the perfect, you know, framework engine stuff first and then get going with the game. But I realized I never get anything done then, because yeah, I don't know. I this time around I'm just trying to instead use Raylib, which can be used for drawing graphics, and Odin, which is a nice programming language, and in combination with each other just do stuff, focus on the gameplay coding and stuff. And it's working quite well because I worked on games at studios, and I've worked professionally on game engines, but I've never managed to make a whole game myself and ship it, and I'm so close to shipping it now that I know that it will happen. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing these gloves, it's because it's winter and it's not that cold in the apartment, but when I have my hand on the mouse, my hand tends to get cold, and it's probably because I have a bad circulation in my hands. Like I walk outside in the winter and it's perfect and perfectly warm and cozy, except that my hands get very cold even though I have double gloves on. So, and I'm quite sporty, go for runs and everything, so there's nothing wrong with my circulation except in my hands. That sucks. But anyways, enough about that. We will put the game down here maybe, and then we put the to do over here. Also we put in progress what was we gonna do. This one, let's do it nice and tidy like that. Okay, how does that work now again? This is it will enumerate all the player actions at some point. I think there's a function called get all player actions. Yes, this one. So it includes inspect, which is this one, and then it has talk, and then it has pickup, and this is just debug stuff that I sometimes use to give myself items, and then it goes through your whole inventory and makes one square for each item, and it returns this whenever you ask for it. So let's see. Get all player. Is this the no? I think this is the HUD stuff here. Let's make the code window a bit bigger. I'm just looking on my second screener. I know where the my face is in the corner of the screen, so I don't want to cover that one. I don't want to cover the code with my face. So many streams where you accidentally code behind their face for half an hour. Not good. Yeah. So let's see here. Let me know if the audio is okay. I'm always before the stream tweaking a bit because I hate bad audio, but I also don't have the best mic in the world. So let's see here. Is it this stuff? If input.gamepad. I'm just gonna try. If I recompile, does that disappear? Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, it does. So it's this stuff. Checking by hot reloading. So long I was in this code, I was like, is it this? So it takes the... What does this code do? Yeah, it takes the top left rect of this rect. Top left, it goes here. I think I can just change these let's move it in first. +10 minus. What does that do? Okay. What happens if I don't do minus width there? That's the width of the little picture of the use. What's use T? Get. Okay. So if I don't add anything, I just say I want to draw this at the top left corner. Then it draws here. Ah, okay. The origin. Where is the origin of this thing? See here. Ah, okay. So it's the top left of this thing. It goes there. So this is the BG rect is this one, and the top rect. But then it also has some. It moves it up with the height a bit here. So if I do -1 here, And then I do minus height plus 3, okay. See? Yeah, then it moved up. So this is gonna look awkward when no matter what I do. Like, yeah. We can try putting it at the bottom again, see how that looks. Rect bottom right. So move here. Whenever it hot reloads, the state that it knows it's using the gamepad is gone. So hello, Lou. Because if I put it here, I can do like, I think I can just do this actually. Remove that, and it will now end up there, and then I could move it in a bit, I guess. -3, and then like -3 or something. Yeah. -2, -5. So I do lots of UI stuff. I hot reload and oh no. Nah, this is not gonna look okay. No matter what I do. So we do top right. Rect top right. Oh, that's almost correct already. Maybe it can go one less. How? How? The cookies got burnt. I think I'm gonna keep it like this. It just gets a bit awkward when it's over here. Like it's this thing, and then it takes some space up here, and then this thing is sticking out. You know, all that. Hello, Justin. So Justin says that he has been going through my old streams, and that it's nice to see a game from scratch that isn't a big 5-year-long project. Thank you. It's yeah, I'm trying to do something not too big so I can ship it, and it will ship. If nothing terrible happens, I will put it up on itch.io in before the end of the month. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that. Very good. But then we have then we take go to the bottom here. We say completed. Very good. Okay, what to do now? Is tutorial missing on first level? That's boring. Fix stuttering. That's complicated. Make main menu pretty. Is it not pretty? No, it's missing some stuff. It's a bit sparse. But yeah, I don't know. Play through game and fix all interaction. This one is actually I can't do on stream because I need to play through the whole game. But we can play through the first level. I think actually I fixed it all in this level. We can play through this one and the second one and try to fix some stuff here. It's fun to play through. Okay, so here is, I can go into my debug mode. The interaction point is here, and then there might also be an off. So this is the interaction where the player is. Like this is the point. It measures the distance from here to this to see if it's close enough to interact. So these 2 points are the important ones. So I have an offset for this point on each object, and then I have also up here is another point, which is where the icon will appear. So there's a separate offset for that, because sometimes something is very big and you want the interaction point to be sort of close to the ground, but you want the icon to maybe appear over it because it's a big thing. This is one of these special walls that are climbable if you have the correct items. Here you can see some funny things, that there's actually colliders in the wall here, and here it has generated a climbing thing inside, even though I mean I can go in there, I can teleport in there. Oops. Oh, this I should fix. It always wants to do the intro when I leave the editor. I went into the editor by accident, but F2 fix what's it called? Intro, skip intro when leaving editor on first level. But yeah, so I can accidentally end up in here, you know. Oh, I have no control. Yeah, now I'm inside the wall. You see these things. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just fun. This kind of the things you see. Anyway, so that's, but what I said before, that's how the interaction stuff works. And this one, let's look at it a bit. I maybe want to push the interaction point, the offset, 1 pixel to the right. Let's do that. And I have a function called create entity from entity kind. Oh, thank you, Lou. I'm also gonna try to do more when I'm done with the game. I'm gonna try to do some more tutorial videos on using Odin and Raylib. I think, like create basic game from scratch kind of stuff, because, and I try to focus on that. I think Odin is actually, even though it's a low level language that tries to be, you know, a bit C-like, it's actually good for beginners who hasn't done game programming before. Maybe they have some kind of programming experience, but they haven't done game programming, because I think the game is simple enough and has, you know, removed enough of the sort of things that people usually find complicated about C and stuff. It has removed enough about that, of those things, that I think that it could be a good first programming language for beginning game programming. And then you have something like Raylib to make it also easy to get stuff going, and then you can sort of ease into it and sort of look at the more, what people usually find hard is, like, you know, maybe manual memory management, or, well, that's usually the only thing, you know, when people complain that these kind of languages are too hard. It's manual memory management, and that the language is maybe feels complicated, but Odin is not complicated, and it has high level, it's a low level language with high level features, like with a high level feeling. So because of that, I think people will find it easier than they think, even though it tries to be a better C kind of language. Akkus Art asks if the game will be moddable. Not per se, maybe, really. But what I plan to do is, when you buy the game on itch.io, you will get a sort of, for educational use, you will get like the source code for it. Not through open source sort of, but you can, when you buy it, you can also download a separate zip, and you can look how it was done, and then you could of course modify it. No real plans for doing moddable. It's more supposed to be a, you know, very curated, specific experience, the game. Like it's a it's not a sort of open world or sandboxing game at all. It's more of a adventure game. So modding, I mean, it makes sense to mod Terraria. Maybe it doesn't make so much sense to mod The Secret of Monk Island. And this is more, you know, closer to Monk Island in the sense that it's sort of a very specific little story where you go through and find items and use them with the world and stuff. So and that makes the gameplay code a bit more. Everything is sometimes things are more hard coded a bit than in, you know, general games that like games that try to be general, like for example games like maybe Terraria or what's it called, like Spelunky or something. I would assume those games have a slightly more sort of abstract code base where the very specific things are maybe pushed a bit more out. Like I have some stuff in my game that are just like, there's code in the right in the middle of everything just to fix one specific thing for the story of the game, and that's fine for this game, but it also makes it a bit less moddable maybe. Yeah, Justin says that he has done a breakout clone in Zig and Raylib and plans to do the same thing in Odin. Yeah, to get the idea of the differences. Yeah, do that. Like Bill said on this recent interview on Developer Voices, it's people often like, should I try Zig or Odin? Try both for like spend a week with each. See which one you like more. Don't listen to anyone else because they're not you, so they don't know. Now I talk too much again, so I don't know what I'm doing. I forgot to put it in progress. Oh yeah, I'm doing this. Playthrough game. Fix interaction, points positioning. So this one is called the wall. It's called the rock wall. And here I have two offsets. This is the interactable offset, which is this one, and then there's the icon offset, which is the second one. I add 1 pixel here. Now I will have since this one has its data created in this function, when I hot reload, this data is not recreated so I would have to like reset the game somehow, and what I usually do is I go into the editor and I leave it again, but then this darn animation plays, so maybe I should fix that. But now, oops, I reset it again. Why can't I move after the... There are some issues here. I can move now. I think it's that, yeah, but now this one is better, I think. Arguably. Whatever. Is that this one is quite okay. Let's try to skip this one, because I'm gonna get mad at this. Skip intro when leaving editor in first level. So this is a intro transition. It's this one. So I have some kind of game states in my game, and one of them is the intro transition, and it sets this one when it loads the first this level. So it does all this stuff and it sets the transition, but maybe I can make it somehow so it doesn't do that when it comes out of the editor. Akku's art asks, is the function compiled the function can be compiled semi-runtime? Yes, it's I hot reload the gameplay code. So I leave the game running here, and we can do something fun like go to play mode update, and what fun can we do? We can go into draw default. Here's a clear background. We can change the clear color maybe. That's a very color orange. I recompile. Takes a tiny bit of time. Pop, and then it changed. It works nicely for tweaking what functions do. You know, if your memory layout of a struct changes, you're often in trouble. Your game might crash, or you might at least have reset the game. But as long as you're just tweaking what the function does, which is for me the majority of the time when I'm tweaking gameplay behavior, like I'm just tweaking what functions do, then this works perfectly. And I have a video on how I set this up on my YouTube channel. You can look at it. Just kind of called Hot Reloading Gameplay Code in Odin or something. I also have a blog post written about it that is very long, where I kind of put in everything I know about it. Yeah, it is a very useful thing, but it has its limitation. Like I said, I can't, like, if I do big changes to gameplay state, I'm in trouble. But for example, when I make editor tools, you know, sort of like pushing pixels around, like, oh, this button I want 1 pixel down, then it's just, you know, my editor tools are written using an immediate mode UI. So then I can just like change the function that draws the UI code. And I mean, I can show it. Here's my editor, and go to the editor file here, and we can find, oh, where's the save button? Oh, it's this one. This save button here is drawn by this code, and the button width comes from that. It asks how big should the button be, but we could also say use 100 here, recompile, and then you will see the save button grow. So for making immediate mode UIs, this is super. I can't even imagine. I mean, I think making games without something like this is too much of a hassle, so I'd rather not, almost, because I've gotten so used to it. It's like, oh, so it's the restart, okay, why? That sounds annoying. Anyways, we were not doing that. We wanted to fix the when it comes out of the I'm gonna check how big text size I have. It's always a bit, you want quite big text size on a stream, because I'm trying to optimize my stream, so even if you watch on a phone in portrait mode, no, in horizontal mode, you could actually watch it. Now check that it works, but you have to keep the text size a bit big, or if you want to watch in window mode on your YouTubes or something. Anyways, transition, game state intro transition. I should put my chat on my main window, like maybe behind my face or something, because then it's, can I pop this? Pop out chat. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, there you are. I'm gonna move. I had another thing here, and I put you guys behind my face. Amazing. I hid you behind me. So now because it's kind of annoying to stare to the side all the time. And then I of course put that one always on top, so it's just hovering there. Then of course, like, YouTube has decided to put this big thing here all the time, and I'm like, why is it so big? I'm like, inspect. This is the best stuff. You inspect it. Am I gonna break the chat now? Will I not see anything more? This one. No, which one is it? I'm gonna remove it, because it takes too much space. That one. There we go. Someone please write something so I know that I didn't break the chat. How will I know? Okay, let's fix this somehow. How do I know I'm coming from the... How do I know if it has already, the game has already started or not? destroy entity. So I don't want this. I don't want any of this to happen almost. Let's see. Because when I leave the editor, it runs this intro, which is very annoying. Cat exists. Ah. Well, that's, I've added that one. Yes. This post level load, which is the function that does a lot of things after the level has loaded, takes this one. Cat. It's maybe not the best name. Because it's unclear, but we can just check that one. Is it for a long time? Oh, how I'm gonna do this? And you just need to, if not cat exists, yeah, I'm gonna rename that one because the cat does exist in both cases. It's just that, let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, now it didn't run the intro, but if I reset the level, then it does. But if I go into the editor now and leave, then it doesn't. That's good. I'm gonna rename that variable to something better. What does it really do? This is a sort of programming thing where you, so you know what this bool does is it's sort of more like, are you actually loading the level, or are you sort of reloading the level? That's sort of what it does. But the way I check that is when I leave, let's see here, when this is like, if I'm editing, if I press F2 and I'm in the editor, then it's gonna leave the editor, right? Okay. And then it checks if it already has the cat somewhere, and in that case it will do all this stuff. What? Cat exists. Cat exists. Yeah, this should just be called something like restarting level or something. Let's check. Actually, this one should always say true, because it doesn't matter if the cat exists or not. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't know why I ever did it like that. So no, this is a good bug. It goes crazy sometimes, the physics, when I've left the game in the background for too long. Yeah, this works, but I can reset the game. Zoom out. Okay, so then we fix that. Skip intro when leaving editor. Not really a game fix, more of a workflow fix. But and now I can continue playing through the game. Maybe I'll do a little git commit as a treat. Where the hell is my? Oh, there it is. No, this is not the window. This is the window. Some fix editor and use fix. Why? What did I do? I can do like this. Haha. Vim happened. Okay. Now we continue playing through the game a bit here. This one is the same. So I'm just gonna run around and look at the different interaction points. See if it all looks fine. This one looks fine. This one is a bit weird, like where it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be with this thing. Maybe it should be up here instead. Maybe that would be better. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's move that one. Create and create entity from entity kind. This is called opening. And I would say that it needs to be, you need to move it up maybe 5 pixels. So we put this one. Is the use position is here. Maybe I should start by moving that one a bit. Put it at 25, minus 25.7. Let's reset, have a look. That's too far out now. So I'm looking at the white dot here. Trying to position. That's the position that these two need to be close enough to each other. And I just go into the editor and go out again to do a sort of soft reset of the game, because that keeps me the player at the same position. That's fine. I kind of like that it's like you can come up to here and then it's like, what's this? What we do then is we move this sort of thing. This is the icon offset, which where should this be? Now we can go out of that, and now it looks like this. Maybe actually it should be down here instead, or up here. Where did the chat go? There it is. Justin asks, what is your criteria for when it's worth to make it configurable from the editor versus just being easier to edit in code? There's a few different things. The first thing you must realize is if you're working on a team with others, then much more things needs to go into the editor. But if you do, but let's ignore that. Say that you're making games yourself. You're a sort of a programmer designer who can either of the two is fine with you. It's more of like when is it best to do what. And I would say that always start doing it in code. Especially if you're making it from scratch like this, so you don't have all the editors in the world, and you need to make the editors if they're missing. Then it's better to start in code, because code you can usually write pretty quickly. But however, there are certain things that are almost impossible to do from code. One thing is like splines, and you will quite often when one makes a game, you will start with like maybe you start with doing some interpolation code. Okay, these two things are this far apart. I want to make them go closer to each other, and you have some kind of linear interpolation between them. Maybe, who knows? But then you over time realize that you want some kind of spline to get a smooth motion. One good example is, we leave the editor, we go to the second level here. Here you have the player moving on a spline. This rocket is moving on a spline. And this is one thing where I realize I must make an editor for this, because I can't do it from code and make it nice. Because I started in code. I did this actual movement. I did first in this is when I made the spline tool. I think was for this one, or maybe it was when it took off from the other place. But I needed to make a smooth animation like this down, and I first was doing it in code. But you know, getting this kind of smooth spline motion is not so easy. So I made a little spline editor. In the editor here, you can see this one. Here's the spline, and you have these kind of movable. Oh, you need to click edit path. You can sort of move these points, and then there's some bugs. But it's just, and another important part is when you actually decide that you need to put it inside editor. If you're making the game yourself, you don't need to polish it like mad if only you are gonna use it. Make sure it doesn't. Make sure the workflow is nice and fast for you, but you don't need, if it's like if you can cut some corners, and because the thing that takes the longest to make in game engines is the tools, and that's because you need to make them so perfect. You know, you need to have keyboard navigation on everything, and everything needs to make perfect sense. I don't really have almost any keyboard navigation in my editor. I like keyboard navigation in Windows in general, but the way I work with this editor is I use the mouse a lot. Yeah, it's just know when you know what features to put into the editor, and know what features you can skip when you're doing it alone, because you don't need to put all those super polished things in. It needs to be a tool that makes it faster for you to finish your game, not a tool that someone else would find very pleasing, but the difference doesn't matter to you. But yeah, I think always start in code. I have a good example here of when I did too much in editor. Is I had this editor for entity types here. I can make it taller. Initially I had a whole system for making like interactables and stuff in here. Now these days I only use this for like defining animatable objects like this one, so I can easily do that. But I barely use it for that either, because since I did this. So what happened before here was that I had this stuff here, and you define entity types. You can click new, you can click here, say that it's a static object. Okay, I want this, I don't know what, box. Okay. And then you could, you immediately have a problem. This is made in the editor, so it only exists in data. How does the code refer to that data? And then suddenly you're like, okay, maybe I can have some kind of callback into the code that you specify on the object, which is sort of its update function or something. So you sort of have this thing where you create some data in the editor, and it needs to have a thing back to the code, and it all gets a bit complicated very quickly. So I barely use these things anymore. I use it for maybe putting in some, like these cats you see here are the ones that are in the first level in the caves here. I put those in, for example, like that. I almost only use it for defining things that are like static graphic stuff, things I want to place. But since that's the only thing I'm using for, I could actually generate that. I could scan the texture folder and generate like, placeable texture. But it just has ended up like this because I started like this. But the old system I had for like defining, I had lots of stuff for like making entities that had like you can interact with it, and when you interact, this and this event happens and all that. all that stuff I've stopped using. What I do instead, I like a few months ago, I added a new system called entity kind, because entity type is already taken, because I haven't removed the old system. And this is sort of, you know, a bit of a problem you get when you're making a game yourself. When should you refactor, and what can you keep as it is and just keep the two systems forever? And in this case, I actually have the entity kind and the entity type both still, and I will ship with both. The entity type currently holds some of those in defining the editor, but entity kind is stuff defined in code. So we have, for example, the rock wall we looked at earlier is here, and when it wants to create a rock wall, it runs this code. It says, okay, it has one renderable, it's this texture, this is the rock wall texture. It says where the collider is, if it's interactable, what use item handler it should use, and the use item handler is it's an enum that maps to a function. So you have this, and it maps to this function. So this is what happens when you try to use an item or like an ability with this one. So you see the difference here already. I define the type in code and I bind it like it's tightly coupled with the code that will happen when it's when I want to interact with it, which is, this is much simpler than the stuff I had before when I wanted to get some kind of interaction code with some object type defined in the editor back and forth. This is much simpler, given that you are sort of a programmer designer and other people that don't know as much programming don't need to interface that much with your stuff. So I think if you are a programmer designer, maybe you're making your own games, then I would say put as much as you can in code, but notice when, for example, the spline thing is good example. Notice when it you just can't express it in code anymore because you need a visual editor, because it's just not something that's making it's nice to do in code. Yeah. I realize I usually have my cozy music on in the background. I forgot to put it on. I have it. I'll put it on. You let me know if it's annoying. This is the music from the game I made that usually plays. It's kind of jazz. Yeah. So let's continue playing through the game. I should make this cutscene skippable, but it's a bit annoying for me, mostly. Let's teleport up here. So I fixed this one. I think I could put the interaction stuff down here, but maybe put it slightly less far to the right. Yeah, that's good. Why do I teleport out when I can? It's butter. Butter makes pancakes good, and cats very slippery. There you can go up here. You can press this button and fly through. This guy has some interaction points. I think it's quite good. The important one here is the talking to him. This one looks okay. It's a squirrel. Can talk to him. So it looks good. here, look at this guy. Looks okay. Here's so maybe you saw some of that stuttering I talked about. The game was stuttering a bit. Might look at that one. That one is okay. There's a rock wall up here that I know will be okay. Here is this one is a bit weird. Ah, it's okay. This one is okay. Here is the here's something I want to fix. He wants, so when you when you jump over here, you automatically go into a conversation, but the cat walks very strangely close, so I would like it to maybe stop over here instead, so we can look at that. Also is this I think this one can be a bit more to the side, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, but now we're gonna move where the cat should stand, because it should stand here roughly. This is the bird. The bird. The bird's interaction point is here. I should probably move it down a bit, so you can stand here and sort of talk to him. Akku's art is asking, asking which one. I guess that question is which one I think is best, creating your own editor versus importing files from other editors. And that depends on, I would say it depends on if you're making a game that's, for example, there is editors like LDTK and TileEd that can make very nice tile set based stuff. If you're doing stuff like that, I go outside the tile set a bit, which I'm sure you can maybe do in those editors as well. But the tile set isn't really the important part. If your game is mostly that you place the player and then you place maybe it's a game with that where you have enemies that run around, right? And there isn't that much, you know, configuration going on in the level itself. So say that you have mostly that, the gameplay is mostly because of there's an enemy here, it will see me, it will attack me, I shoot, stuff happens. There's maybe not a lot of cutscenes going on, and there's not a lot of small custom things happening everywhere in the editor. If you're doing that, then I think using those third-party editors is very good. But if your game does very many custom things, maybe there's constantly sort of like weird interaction things happening in the game that can maybe there's a trigger here, you walk into it, and then there's a spline, and you want to be able to put the spline inside the thing, inside the level easily, and it should be linked up to all these things, and you want it to be easily, maybe you need to expose some stuff from within your own data structures to be selectable within the editor to easily make it so that you can configure stuff based on what your game needs. Then maybe it's better to have your own editor. I think you will often, I think you can, if your game fits within the existing editors, you can start with those and maybe make your own if it doesn't work out for you. Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. For me, I've worked as a tools programmer for engines, so I just started making editor because I didn't even question it, which is maybe not the best way. But I just did that. So I have this editor with, I can place entities and I can place tiles, like this. then I have some kind of properties on entities. I can select this bird here and I can say some stuff about it. And I can define these entity types, and I even have a dialogue editor here that I made. And this dialogue editor is a good case example of when I really thought I needed this, and I even have a whole big video on how I made this thing. It's a whole node-based dialogue editor. But actually, I will not do it like this again. This one. Because I thought the sort of tree structure of the dialogue that I would need some kind of visual tool for it. But I realized I could have done all of this with some kind of data file where I can just list the things people say in the conversation, and if there's a choice I can have some little tag for that and say that, okay, jump down to this thing in the conversation, and maybe you tag up a line with like, okay, here it can jump, because that's what this thing does, right? It's like, okay, it says these things. This is very important, by the way. The things the cat says has cat ears. Best feature in this editor. But this is something the cat says, and this is something the the entity you talk to says, and then this is a choice here, and depending on the choice it will go to this node or to this node. But you could easily express this in a text file. I think many complicated RPGs tend to have some kind of node-based dialogue editor. But I also would maybe make it so that if I did keep it as a dialogue editor, a graphical editor, that you just wrote the line like you had one big node, and you can say player says this, the entity says this, the player has these alternatives, and then maybe there's some out connector. So it's just one box here, because making these boxes and connecting them is kind of tiring when it's like this. I mean, here this could just be a list of things to say instead. So maybe that's a good middle ground, so still have the graphical way to connect it, but whenever it's just a straight line like this, you just have everything in one box. But I didn't really look much at other dialogue editors when I made this. I just kind of went by feeling, because in my previous jobs I made like graph editors for shaders and stuff. But so I just did this, but I question it now a bit. So we're gonna look at this bird here. I don't care about this interaction point. Maybe no, I don't. So what we're gonna do, made the game very big. Make the game smaller, put it here. What we are gonna do is, there's a thing here called an interaction offset. Interactable offset. And I think the default there is like 20, but maybe it says say 50. This is how far in the X direction the thing needs to be. What's it called then? No, that's that one. What's it called then? Interaction position offset. I guess 20 or 25 is the standard. So let's teleport over here, reset it, jump it. Yeah, now it stops there. This is much more reasonable. Maybe I want to push it a tiny bit more off. Offset. Wait, I need to go in and out of the editor too. That guy really didn't want to stop, did he? Let's say 60. So you see how this hot reload stuff, I hot reload, I do this. Now I'm kind of stuck in interaction, so I go into the editor because that clears my state. Oh wait, I use like teleporting over here. Yeah, this is what I wanted. This looks okay to me. Here's the egg. The egg has okay interaction points. Yeah, I think this level is okay. I'm gonna save everything and commit that a bit. Planet.cat level interaction point fixes. There are more in the later levels, but I will just write planet.cat level fixed, not the rest. Put this one back because I realize I don't want to fix all those now because I have to play through the whole game to fix it. The stuttering. No, that's something I need to sit for 3 hours and stare at a profiler. Make main menu pretty. I'm not sure what. I think I need to build a whole little scene here or something. Maybe I should actually load a little level and have that in the background. Maybe with some stuff moving and everything. I think that sounds fun. That just like animations and stuff. Just a one-off mini level that's in the background. Let's try to fix this one actually. This would be a bit of a coding. So when we start new game, there's a little intro here that I didn't show before. And this goes on a spline, but you can sort of see that it did a weird sort of there. And if we look at this level, this is my intro level. It's a very stupid little dream the cat is having. If we look at this one, edit the path of this spline here. This one is at speed 20. It says here, this point. This point is at speed 20. This point is at speed 5. But I thought I coded this in a way so that it should smoothly change. But it seems like, is it when it passes this point that it kind of does the little... Yeah, it's when it passes this point. Because if this one had speed... If this one had speed 20, then I'm pretty sure it would not happen. Let's just check our assumptions here. This one comes in flying. No, it still happens. Okay. Good, we checked an assumption. Let's just... Whoops. Edit. Hello, Shiner. Good evening. So it's something else that makes it stutter like that. Okay, let's try to figure out. Then we can put this back to 5. Let's see here. If we do like that, now it would make a very funny snaking turn there. Yeah, sort of does a little funny thing. Okay. So I think it... Let's just check also what position is this. I can hover over a position, press P, and then I see that it says 108.26. It says it here. I can hover anywhere and just press P and it says where it is. So it's here, 108.26. Let's double check. Let's double check the spline evaluator. This thing. Let's constantly print the t.pos. Leave the editor and it will Oh, why is it not with println? Lol. Very confused here. There it was. Actually, what I can do here, there's a magical button called break. So I can make this... What happens? Oh, I break this. No? Yes, I did. So now I just look at this, and when it slows up and down, I press break. There. 108.26 was here. Gonna do that once more. Oh, I missed it because I had the wrong focus. Yeah, it's here. Okay. Why, oh, why? I'm gonna print the speed multiplier as well. Or not as well. 30. Here's 2020, 2020, 20. And there something happened. Again. Okay, it's just when it starts changing the speed multiplier. But is that really the problem though? Because I already looked and checked here that it was in fact not due to the difference in speed. So let's remove the speed differences. The differences. Put 20 everywhere. Save that. Stop editing the path. And then we'll see. It says 2020, 2020. Oh, there was a little... That was interesting. There was a little change there for some reason. It's so tiny though. Huh. Okay. It doesn't seem to be doing... I don't think it's the speed multiplier that makes it... Like I said, what I'm trying to fix is that it... Oh, I accidentally went to the next level. What I'm trying to fix is the little slowdown, and then it goes faster again. So let's go into evil spline. This is the function that evaluates the spline. And let's see if there's an issue in here somewhere. This is not the prettiest code ever, but because what it does is that it evaluates the whole spline and checks how fast, like how long is the whole spline, so it knows like how long it is and how to move along it. I haven't looked at this code in a while, so I'm gonna be a bit confused. But that's good that I have some rubber ducks on YouTube. So what this code does is that it this evil spline function, the evil spline function, or the evil spline, it simply returns a vector 2 based on the time and the spline. Right. And it also knows the previous position. I don't know if it actually really needs to do that. Why does it? Aha, that's to figure out the direction it should move along. Knows the previous position. You could maybe do some funny stuff where you get the derivative sort of the curve. But and actually these days, I'd made this before, but Raylib these days has spline, draw spline. Yeah, I think you can get the spline points, but Raylib used to only, I think, have a draw one, but not a get spline point stuff. But since Raylib 5 you can do that. But I have my old trusty code here that doesn't work so well, so let's keep using that. I wonder if there's a bug in just when it passes this that the sort of average speed becomes wrong or something. Because we have this PC is the current point and PN is the next point. Sometimes you won't have a next point because the spline is actually, the way it's made right now is that the spline consists of many separate splines. So this is one spline, and then this is one spline, this is one spline, and they're all connected by sharing these points. And this is the Bezier function. It's a what is it? It's quadratic, right? I don't know. No, it's a cubic Bezier curve. Yes. And this function evaluates it. Like I said, I could have used the Raylib stuff to do this, but yeah. So let's try to figure this out. So the first thing this function does is that it calculates the total length of the whole spline. It sort of just steps along the whole spline and calculates the total length of it. And it does that by doing this funny stuff. And you know, the way I store my spline is I store it as this point, this point, this point, this point, and then this point. And they also have these tangents that you can. Now everything is red here, so it's not so good because this level is red. But so it goes from this point to this point along the spline, and it sort of steps along it to see how long it is. It's probably an analytic way to do this, to calculate the length of it, but it doesn't really matter. It's not that many steps. It's quite fast. It can do it like every time it wants to evaluate. It can calculate the length of it, because I only have one spline active at a time. Doesn't matter. And when it has done all this, so it sort of steps through between this point and this point, it steps, calculates how long it is, then it has a total length, and it also has a length per segment here. And then it goes again through all the points and tries to figure out where is the player actually on the spline. And it also does stuff. I have like, you can click in the editor here and say if you want a custom rotation. If you don't want the custom rotation, it will infer the rotation from the spline by like the current and last position, kind of which way is pointing. And then it has a scale you can use and a speed, and it's a speed that's giving us a bit of a trouble. And what it does, it lerps between the speed of this one and that one. So it has this one and that one, and then if this one is speed 20 and this is speed 5, then it will lerp based on how far along this line you are. It will lerp and figure out what speed you should have. So here it will be, if this one point has speed 20 and this point has speed 5, I mean now it has 20, but imagine it had 5, then it would, here it's 20, has 5, and then it has all the values in between here. And we can of course check that this actually, let's do it like this. You can check that this actually works. So when you debug stuff, the most important thing is to check your assumptions all the time. Like what's the, because suddenly you're gonna spend 5 hours debugging something and you actually did an assumption at one point that wasn't true, and you could have seen the solution to the problem much earlier. 2020, and there was this little stutter, and there it goes here, and hopefully it gets to 5. But when it gets to 5, it starts going faster again, because this one is, let's edit this one down to 5 also. 20. Then it stutters a bit, and then it should come down to 5 here, and it should stay at 5. It has some little funny extra decimals there, but it stays at 5 until it comes here. This sequence is essentially the cat dreaming. I made this like yesterday. I'm gonna make it nicer with how the squirrel comes in. And what's happened is that the cat is dreaming it's a cloud, but then it actually zooms out. And there it does a level change, so there's 2 separate levels. And the first level has a completely red background. But anyways. Okay. So I don't see why it would maybe something weird happens when it's just at that point. Like when it's just at the control point. When it just passes here, maybe something weird happens. I'm gonna change these back to 20 because since it still happens. And does it happen multiple times? Let's check here. This happens the first time there, and then it goes on, and it goes smooth. There was another one almost. Was that because this one is much higher speed? And this is 50. Yeah, it seems to. Let's see here. We'll look through the thing again. There's a stutter. Flies. Huh? You know, it almost seems like it has to do with how long. Let me check something. If this one is equally distant between this point and that point, does that matter? Still slows down a bit. Is it something to do with the length of these tangent plops? I know it's very hard to see this because they're red. Let's change the Post level load. Let's change the background color so you can see what I'm doing here. Intro dream. Clear color, color sky. Yeah, there you go. Actually, it's not the best color either. It's better. Because these, I'm actually gonna fix something in my spline editor. I have a line between them. This line here. And it uses a very silly color. This one. Let's try magenta instead. Yeah. And also, can I make this line thicker? No, okay. Guess not. I mean, I can, but my code doesn't support it. Does this really need a... That's a terrible color. But I shouldn't. Maybe I should use a white. That's easy enough to see. That's good. So what I want to check now is if the length of these tangents, if that matters. Is it actually? It's behaving so weirdly. I think it might be something with the... If I make this very short, the tangents. Then it almost completely stopped. Okay, if I just make them a bit medium long. Yeah, there I could barely notice it. So it's something with the tangent of the spline. Where is it? Where's the money, Lebowski? Here. It's something with the... Is there like a bunch of... I was thinking if maybe how long the tangent is, does that bunch together a lot of points when you just... If you just step through it like this, does that... Are there way more points here? But it shouldn't become longer because of that, should it? Yeah, I think so. The Bezier point function takes 2 points and then the control points, which is these guys. And of course that function does take these points into consideration. I think maybe just the way I How do I do this now again? What's SL? Segment length. So it sort of linearly steps from this real yellow point here to that one. And it seems like, let's just try this. Take this value. This is the rev to pos. Yep, take that one. Let me check how long is that one. We print that constantly. And then we also try to recreate our problem here, because I almost removed it by making those. What's happening? Oh, I also moved it. Let's move the point up a bit like this. And there you see how it. Okay, now I'm gonna watch here, and then it. Yeah, you can clearly see that this is the distance between the previous point and the current point, and it's all the time it's like 0.3, 0.3, blah 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 blah, and then just when it sort of slows down, it becomes much shorter, which is of course what you expect. But so when I do this sort of so this remap, it sort of goes gonna unpause this. This remap function goes from here to here sort of linearly. It knows that we go from position 0 to however far along the spline this is, right? And then it's just sort of tries to step through all that. What's SL? Right, the segment length. What's the accumulator here? Okay. Then it just runs the as a timer and sort of just times and tries to push you through here. Gosh, how to fix this? Seems like I might have made some weird assumption when I wrote this code. We can do something fun actually. What does Raylib do? Because it has... What does these functions do? Get spline point, Bezier... Which one is mine now again? Cubic. Let's see what Raylib does, because I have the Raylib source here. Okay. Well, this is just for getting the point. Start pos, control pos, endpoint. Wait, I have a cubic. I have two control points. Is my... Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. It's obviously this one is quadratic because this one has the power is to the power of 3. Yeah, this is just for returning the control point. Let me just try using this, see if we get exactly the same behavior. Because I think I can just... It's start pos, start control pos, end control pos, end pos t. Isn't that exactly the same I have? Yes, it is. Let's try using it, see what happens. I think I have everything even in the same order. Maybe. And no, the only difference is that the endpoint should be here. Compile. See how Raylib does. Yeah, it's the same problem. It's not related to the math of it. It's just how I step along the spline. That's the problem. I need sort of I should probably read up on this, how to do it. Because there's probably some smart people who has figured this out 100 years ago. Thinking that maybe there's also some kind of, maybe if you want these to be sort of behave nicely, maybe you need to do something funny where the length of this one is it maybe just that this, if these two are the same length, like this one comes out to meet this one sort of at the same distance, and this one is the same as this. I'm just gonna check that. Is that what it is required, and then it doesn't get said? Yeah. Seems like it. Because if this one is like half the length, and that's not so weird really, because the control points are sort of part of the math function that returns where is the next point, and they will affect the position of it, and like how closely they bunch together for a specific t value of the parameter t. It's almost like it's a bit funny because it almost feels like I'm using the wrong parameter. I kind of want to evaluate a Bezier point according to how far along I want to evaluate a spline of how far along it am I, but I kind of know how far along I am, and then I convert that to a value between 1 and 0 and 1 I mean, for each segment, and then I try to sort of linearly interpolate between there. But what I kind of want to do is to yeah. I'm not sure. I think if anyone has to work with these kind of things, has some good ideas, I'll gladly listen. Because I'm not sure. It's probably some kind of transformation of the value here, this remap. It takes a time and looks at where it is between this point and this point, and then converts that to a 0 to 1 range. But I think I've at least verified that what happens is that when you have two sort of tangents and their control points are not sort of equally don't have the equal distance from the control point here. Like if this length and this length is not roughly the same, then the spacing sort of, if you just look at this as a linear thing, it gets bunched up over here. If you like, if you just have a timer from 0 to 1 to walk along this, it will differ how many points there is up here, I think. I'm not sure. That's my working theory. Well, I'm kind of sure that that's sort of what's happening, but I'm not sure how to fix it. Oh well, maybe I have to save this one for later. Try to get some good ideas. I'm gonna ask some smart people, I think, some other day. Usually the people hanging out in the game development channel on the Odin Discord have some good ideas. Let's see. We can come up with something here. It's a bit weird. Here I step. What do I do here? I step the time. Yeah. How do I fix this? So we have a value between 0 and 1. And when this value is close, when BT is close to 1, it's nearing this. And depending on this thingy here. I wonder if it is, I'm going to check something here. Is it, if I put those two at the exact same distance from each other, that's still, yeah. If I take this one and make it maybe that long, it comes there. Okay, if I put this, maybe I should watch Freya Holmer's videos on continuity in splines. Maybe that would help me. Wait, what's happening now? An hour of a guy trying to understand splines. Excellent. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. But if I... Oi! Why did it go so crazy now? Huh? Oh, it's probably because these two are not the same length. And now it roughly goes. I'm gonna try to research this a bit more. I can't figure it out right now without sitting down and going to school essentially. But it's something here. I will have to do some kind of transformation of the t variable that goes in here to make sure it's equally spaced along the spline, not equally spaced in time or in... Yeah, I wanted... Maybe the problem is that I should... Maybe the problem is that this one should return... You should have a speed through the spline. At each point it notes what speed should I have. And then it somehow returns a new time, maybe? I'm not sure. Oh well, let's do something else. We have figured out many, you know, I kind of have to sleep on that one a bit. But let's save this so we can revert it. Oh, what happened? Did it crash? No, okay, it was just locked. Git status, git diff. Okay, this, I like this change that I have. I can remove that print that's there. This one should be like this. Yes. This thing is fine. Yeah. And then we just need git check out intro dream.cat level. Remove all those changes. So we get back our old stuff. This is it that one? Or maybe I need to reset like this. See now if everything is back to normal. Yeah, this is how it looked before. Yeah. We shall see. Git commit. Some spline editor fixes. Push that. Okay. We would put this one at the bottom with a comment. Needs need to go to school. Okay, let's check this one now when this happens. Is tutorial missing on first level? Yeah, there's no, it's supposed to be a I reset it and see if it changes if I reset it in a different way. There's supposed to be two small arrows or something here. Oh, there they are. But they don't appear if I do this. Oh, I know why. Okay, I think I know why. Yeah, go to see what Akkus art is saying. Maybe if you get the length of the segment of the spline between the 2 points the object is placed and divide the speed by that. It might make sense. Maybe what I should have is... I think it should have a speed along the spline, and then it needs to have a speed along the spline, and then they can divide that by the length of the spline. That's correct, I think, because it needs to... Well, that's if it's counting up the time using the speed, and then you divide by the length, and then sort of the time counts out slower if it's longer, if you're going between 0 and 1. But yeah, I have to sleep on that. What happens here in load checkpoint is that I just think I need to remove this line. It has hide tutorial stuff. Because if you end up at this checkpoint, then you're always before the tutorial. So you might as well show the tutorial stuff. Let's just reset it from there and see if that works. Need to do two things. Do a full reset of the game. Let me go to main menu, click new game. I can let it go through the whole intro. This is the cat dreaming that it's a cloud. It's I was doing this and I was trying to figure out, like, okay, the problem here is that when you reach the squirrel after the tutorial, you will understand that, okay, the goal of the game seems to be to make pancakes with the squirrel. But then until you get there, you don't know who squirrel is, and you don't know what your point of the game is. The point of the game is, you know, your player character gets into some trouble. You try to get some ingredients for pancakes, and then everything goes to hell. But you need some initial sort of like, okay, I have this sort of thing I need to do. So, and then I was like, okay, how can I, because I want some kind of simple tutorial area. At least that's how I built it right now, and I don't want to rebuild all of this now. So I wanted just to give some kind of idea that, okay, what do we need to... we need to somehow inform the player of both the character, the squirrel, and the idea that you're gonna make pancakes. So then what is happening is that you're dreaming, and he jumps in and says that. Maybe I'll add something like, you know, oh, it's the classic first day thing. We're gonna make pancakes today or something. Because... yeah, to make it seem like it's something you know that you need to do, because it's the correct day for you to do this. But you hear it in a dream, and then you wake up and you go like, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna do that. I think that gives that little extra missing thing, because otherwise you can kind of start running around here, and then you run outside, and maybe you run past the squirrel, you've never seen it before, because after the tutorial you end up out here, you know. So maybe you talk to this tree here, and like he says something stupid, and then you run here and you're like, oh, there's some stupid squirrel here, I don't care about this guy. And then you continue running, and then you go all the way over to the east side of the game, and then you turn it off, because obviously this game hasn't told you anything what to do, and there's just lots of weird ones to talk to. So I think that was sort of a weak point, like a very early point of failure that I think I might have addressed with the dream sequence in the intro. Yeah. Let's see here. So this is fixed now. These are back. It says that you can use A and S button to go back and forth. Completed. Very good. Then scroll up again. Fix the stuttering. Don't want to do that today. Let's go through here again. Release build doesn't seem to write settings and save correctly. Maybe this one. Squirrel. This one is quite interesting. This one is quite interesting. It's a bit of okay, let's try to figure this out. It's a bit of a game design something problem. What we're gonna do is we're gonna place an egg here. The egg is the thing that triggers the sequence where you're fetching ingredients for your pancakes, and the last one you can fetch. Like, you always have to fetch the butter and the flour first, and then you get the access to an area where you can fetch the egg. When you fetch the egg, when you're way over there, you pick it up, then the tree gets cut down, but you're over there so you can see that, and then you come here and this guy is crying and blah blah blah, and then you can talk to him. The tree is what happens, machines cut it down, and then he says lots of things, and there's a little conversation going on. He asks you to go grow the space onion, so you can go to the other place where the only remaining onions are, because where the only remaining oaks are, because they cut down all the oaks on the planet. And then it tells you to go fetch the space onion seed in the root cellar, and then you get the key. So you open it, and in here is this, and now we come to this thing here. You need some soil to plant it in, and then you can pick it up now, and suddenly the soil appears, and you can sort of see it just snap in there. And then here's the squirrel crying. Oh, here's actually a, maybe it's a incorrect interaction position. Let's look at the important things here first. I'm thinking maybe what I'm gonna do is just make the squirrel turn around on the spot to face you when you come out again. But the mound, oh, not mound, it sounds like a grave. The soil to plant it in will appear at the same time as this. So then there's sort of no... I was toying for other things that, you know, it's kind of funny how you, if maybe you could zoom in here and just show this area, and then when you come out, the squirrel stands here with a shovel and has digged it up. But too much to do for now, because I don't have the time, because I want to finish this game by end of January. Have to prioritize. So what I'm gonna do is this mound is gonna be dug immediately when you come here, and I think that's probably quite easy. What's this? Oh, that's the mountain in the background. So how does the oak thing work? Dot oak. Find enter with ag. Okay, it actually when you... Okay, this is not the code I was looking for actually. Dot oak. When you get the egg, it finds the oak and swaps the graphics on it to the stump. And then there's also a tag called before egg and after egg. And anything tagged with that will, the ones that's before egg will be removed, and the ones with after egg will be enabled. So what we can do is, this is on onion pickup right now, and this menu sucks. Now we can do after egg instead. It is disabled by default and has tag after egg. That means that it will appear the moment you pick up the egg. Can I pick this? Okay, I can't pick it up because I already have it. I check something here. What's best to... No, I think that's the correct behavior. I have to reset the game because I want some way to skip this cutscene. Press enter and you skip. But it's quite cute, so it doesn't really matter. Now, yeah. Let's see, the event got onion seed. On onion pickup. I think I don't need a tag anymore at all. You get the onion seed, then it finds a squirrel, turns the squirrel around, and then it enables all these guys. I don't need it anymore. Where is the... This is when you come back to the planet later, and this is the code that sets the planet up so it's in the correct state. Where does it change the squirrel? Nowhere. Wait, is it maybe... No. Because when I come back... Ah, no, it's fine. The squirrel stands turned this way to the west by default. Then it turns to the east when you pick up the egg. When you come back later, you haven't picked up the egg. It does some setup. It kind of makes sure the oak is still chopped down and stuff. But yeah. So this is done. This should work fine now. We can reset. Maybe I want to... whatever. I was thinking if I make the first cutscene skippable, because it is obviously a bit annoying to me, but not now. So now we pick that up. Yeah. And I don't think people like the reason I didn't want this here because I didn't want people to question sort of like, oh, but why is this already dug up? He didn't know he was gonna send you away with the space onion on this grand mission. But it doesn't really matter. We can just get through all this dialogue, get the key. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is I think on the list that there is no game state for that you have already talked to him. So I'm gonna fix that. So he says something else. And now the only thing that happened was the squirrel turned around. And then you place that. That's all. So what's supposed to happen here in the game is that you can inspect this. Doesn't seem to grow. Maybe it needs water. You can also talk to a squirrel. He says, I think it needs water. And since you've played this game for a while, you will have had to interact with the waterfall before. So you sort of, that's a natural place to go. So you can ask him for water. And you get a nice bucket here in the inventory. And there's another thing that's on my list. I want to make, and this is the only animation missing in the game currently. That really feels like it's missing, because I want the cat to have an animation where it takes out the water bucket and empties it on here, because currently this happens and it feels a bit so. This thing that happens now is maybe one of my favorite animations. When you say let's go, then it jumps in, pops its head up, and you fly away. This looks broken. Ah, it doesn't matter. This will not be here at this point. Then you fly away. Oh, there's a bug. We're gonna fix that one. Fly through sky, cat jumps in. Again. Okay, so we fix this, the snapping of the soil, by not fixing it, by just making sure it's always there. Small things that make it all seem okay. And then of course we need to go back to the first level and remove that egg also, because that one should not be there. So tired of watching this thing. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Transition update. Skip equals rl.isKey pressed enter. If skip, if keys time is bigger than 8 or skip. Can I just do this? Let's try. Yep. Now I can skip it. So now it only happens in debug builds because it's not a well-behaved skip, you know. It looks a bit kooky, so I just did this. It's just it's good in games to have a skippable cutscenes. I think in general, it's sort of a sin to not have skippable cutscenes. However, this is a sort of short game that I expect people to maybe play through once or twice. Not sure if they need to be skippable really, because it's sort of a feeling and vibes game. But on the other hand, people are allowed to play games anyway, in any old way they want. So maybe some people are like, I'm gonna do it as quickly as possible. But I don't know. Not important right now. Right. Fix soil snapping and added skippable intro. Fly through sky, cat jumps in again. Yes. Why? So when it's up in the sky, it's it's the space game start. This happens 2 times in the game, that you jump into a rocket and sort of go into this kind of thing where you fly up and you have control like that. This is once, and this is the other time. The problem here is that in one of the cases, okay, let's just add a skip animation, because I want to settle this state, but if not skip animation, all this is useful in animation. I think that's that. Now we will compile, we'll get a few compilation errors. Space game start, and then this one also needs to take a skip jump in animation. Bool. Animation. Do like that. This is true. That's when we want to skip it. Event cat enter rocket. False. Cat enter rocket. False. And this one here you also want to do false. Let's see here. Space game start. Yes, I think it should be fixed now. Let's just place a rocket in the start. Fly away with it and see what happens. Talk to it. There's a bug. Oh, maybe it works now. Flies away, flies up. Yeah, now it's okay. That's not a bug, that's just because the rocket is on the wrong layer. Doesn't happen in the real rocket, then it's on layer 4 or something. That was layer 0. Oh, such nice skippable cutscene. Okay, so we fixed that. I think it should be fixed in the other. I'll notice if it's not fixed in other place. Make sure cat doesn't jump into rocket again when flying through sky. Make menu pretty. Release build doesn't seem to write settings correctly. Okay. This one I won't have time to do. Maybe have half an hour left here. Let's see what we can do. You can talk to the treehouse, what happened over and over again. This one is a strong contender fixing now. Give all entities a name. This is a very funny, silly thing. I want to make sure that all entities have a name. There's a few entities currently that have a name, and it depends on if they're pickups or not. For example, you can go over here and you can inspect this baseball bat. Okay, that's fine. But you can also, if you want to, go up and talk to it, and then it says hello baseball bat. But for most things you can't do that because it doesn't know what their name is. So I wanted to add that. Let's do that. That's funny and stupid. It's not the most important thing, but sometimes the least important people get to do important things. What am I saying? I was trying to quote The Lord of the Rings. Sometimes the smallest person can change the course of the future. It didn't go so well. Okay. Let's add a name, maybe, and just set that. So either it has... Yeah, let's do that. Ah. Okay. Yeah. It has got a clash here because some other variants also have a name. Greeting name? I don't know. I just call it desk. It's more of, yeah, it's fine. But that actually sounds like examine text. Examine text is the long one when you use the question mark. Yeah. Now I'm gonna call it display name. Display name is just something programmers write when they already use the word name. Now it's usually when you have an internal name and then you have a name to display to people. But yeah. Let's add that. Create entity from entity. And then let's go through these. Squirrel. Also the one that you can talk to. Then it doesn't really matter because then talking to them will. You can. This is only if you can talk to them. This matters. So if you don't have a dialogue name. That one is fine. Acorn has butter. Oh, this one. This would be glorious. Let's go down here and say display name equal. Maybe put it at top. It's a nice little thing to have. They're used to see butter. I used to do like that. Actually, let's see where that dot talk happens. Is this the one? Yeah, I think it's this line is what it usually says. Let's try this instead. Else if, let's see if, so if the kind is not, is it entity kind, if it's not legacy, lol. Blech. Blech. Then we take the kind and we put it hello and we do this. This will make this will print the kind. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. Yeah, then I don't have to add more data to the entities. And if they need a space, then maybe I make a function for doing that. Oh, there I broke everything. Entity. Let's remove this. Hello, rock wall. Yeah, no, it's just like that. That's what I mean. It's a bit. I'm outside the camera thingy. This works fine. Hello, butter. Hello, opening. It's funny how the butter has. Wait. What's going on here? Why does the butter have like an exclamation? Oh. Because it takes the name from the pickup type, and if you pick the butter up, then for some reason it has an exclamation mark. Which is weird. Okay. So now either I make a function to pretty print the add spaces. Don't I already have something like that? what's it called? A thing in between things. It's a separator. Guess I don't have it. There are some functions in the Odinlang library, but I don't think there's any one to sort of... Wait, I do this in the main menu, I realize. I think. In like the keyboard bindings menu. 2 sentence. Look at this. What's this guy? Ha! Magical. Okay, so what we'll do here is we will... What does 2 sentence want? It just wants a string. Okay, and you get an allocator. In this case, you almost always give it a temp allocator. Why doesn't this one default to temp allocator? That's much more reasonable to me. I think it's reasonable sometimes to default to temp allocator for things that I more often will not keep around, and then I could pass the non-temp allocator here if I wanted. Find all the places where this is used. Okay, now we can just remove this. And that one. This is what this does. I can show in the menu. Is that the... It's apparently used here as well. Yeah, this should still compile. Right. This is used if you go to the options, you have keyboard bindings, and it uses these because these are like left, right, cancel, jump, next item, and these are kind of like this. So when you convert this into a string, there's no space here. So what this one does it does all this, but then it also adds a space and it makes sure this one is lowercase and stuff. Yeah. Let's go here. Skip the cutscene. What am I doing? Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. Talkative. Okay, so let's do this. I need to take this one. Kind str is fmt.print kind, so that makes it into a tprint. Tprint is makes it to a temp allocator, returns a string. Then we can do 2 sentence here, kind str. So we actually don't need that temporary variable. Oh no, go back up there. Go up, talk to the rock wall. Hello, rock wall. The only thing here is, should it be capitalized? I mean, these things are not supposed to. Maybe it should all be lowercase. Hello, rock wall. Maybe that's funnier. Hello, rock wall. Or maybe it should be like capitalized, like each letter is big at the beginning of the word. Talking is hard. Yeah. See what's going on. I personally think maybe it's funnier if it's sort of uppercase each beginning of each word. We could make this configurable, as one can say. So this function toSentence, it checks if we're at the delimiter. Is delimiter? Okay, delimiter is if it's like it's a dash or it's the letter is big. Okay, here it checks if it's uppercase. Okay. To lower. toSentence. We can do like this. Use. What's it called when every letter is capitalized?
Sentence. No.
A sentence this to cat. If capitalized, then let's just do this. If capitalized, then it's Unicode dot to upper. Or otherwise it's to lower. And now we'll get a few. Let's make it into a default. What is this complaining about? To sentence, and then we say capitalized equals true. Hello, Rocco. See, it worked. Haha. And now I will probably discover at some point that there is some entity type that it's quite funny. Hello, root cellar door. But there might be some entity that has a name that does not make sense. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I know a very funny one here. Here is, so there will be, this is a secret. The people who watch the stream can know there's some secrets in the game. But there's a secret here. I'm not going to tell you how to get into it, but there's a secret opening here. And you can say, hello, hidden opening. Because usually if you inspect it, it says, so, yeah, it's some kind of mysterious hole in the wall. I would get stuck if I tried to squeeze through, blah, blah, blah. But then you talk to it and it's like, hello, hidden opening. Because it takes the type from the game. That's maybe not so good. Maybe I'll need to make an override. Either... Yeah. It's also, but it's not that important. You should. It's fun if it's almost fun if there is a little hint that it's a hidden opening. Hello, egg. It's a stupid thing ever going around. Just saying things to inanimate things. Oh, I want to try something. Oh, let's place an egg. Let's do this. Where am I? Here. Yeah, then we go here. Hello, soil. Maybe one day one of these replies. Having too much fun, we're just laughing at. But it's just talking to inanimate things. It's very funny. Oh, hello, onion seed. Some kind of onion seed. Hello, soil. Yeah. I can't pick that up. That's not what it should say. It should say like, I don't want to pick it up because that's where it's supposed to be. Let's add it to the to-do. Onion seed in soil. I can't pick that up. No! The reason I added as to do is because I don't think I need some way to know that it's in a special state, and I don't know. It's a minor thing. I think in general when you try to pick things, I think I should add a function that is called when you try to pick things up. So it says funny things, like this is... Okay, let's continue with maybe 10 minutes. Fix the stuttering, make menu pretty, boring. Animation, no, okay, this one maybe, can't do that. Use item with characters, blah blah blah. You can start the onion sequence after flying up. Yeah, I know that one. Pick up animation. Remove all debug keys from editor. Make butter charge lerp to bless and transpose. Check if DPI stuff works in release mode. Play through game and fix all interaction. Okay, the obvious one to fix is this one. Let's try doing that. The problem here is that you pick this up. The game is in a broken state. Then let's see here. You've talked to this guy. He's like blah blah blah. Okay. It's like they go through all this crap again. But maybe let's look at the dialogue tree for Mr. Squirrel Pants, as we call him now. Okay. Wait, there is some kind of got root cellar key. Progress check. And it shortcuts to go to the other place. Where is that? You must have the space. Okay. Okay, so I think what's happening here is this progress got root cellar key just doesn't happen. Let's see if it's even ever used in code. No. Item check key. Give item key. Okay, but set progress also. The reason I can't just check for the item is because you might use the key and then it disappears. And so we have this one. So we chuck this node in between here, and it's magically fixed. Eggers, birdie egg. Ah. Okay, I talk to him a lot, say many cool things about cool stuff. Got it. And now go to the other place. Yeah, it short-circuited the... I mean, it goes through a few of these things, but that's fine. Just to give the context to, so that you understand these. Got it. Got the onion. I'm gonna do so now. And even if you get rid of the key, I want to plant the egg. That would be rude. No, it wouldn't be rude. It would be stupid. There's just this general thing of whenever you try to use the egg with anything, it's like as if you're trying to egg it, which is rude. Yeah, and then you pick this up, and now... Okay, maybe there should be some kind of... Maybe there should be some kind of special dialogue here that you have the onion seed. But that's for another day. I'm gonna write that on the... When you have onion seed. Special. Please plant it. Dialogue with Squirrel McSquirrel. That's his name now. Scottish squirrel, apparently. Yeah. Save. Good. Excellent. Oh, this one is done. I'm bad at putting that in progress. This is, you know, I have my other to-do here. On my other, this is my main to-do. That contains lots of secret things that you can look at very quickly now. I have the word short-term to-do and long-term to-do here. Short-term is like, you know, the coming few days, like today or maybe a week or something. And then having progress. The funny thing I've realized that, you know, when people do this kind of Scrum stuff, then they have what they call a backlog, and then they have their sprint. That those words are just funny ways to say backlog means long-term to do. It's all the stuff. Like here I put all the stuff I need to do in the game. That's backlog. Whatever you think of you need to do, put it there. And short-term to do is what they in Scrum call a sprint. It's like, okay, I have, maybe the sprint is like 2 weeks or 1 week. Something. Then I put it in here, and I take, and this is where I take stuff from, and then I put it in progress, and then I put it at completed when it's done. So it's, I think also the word backlog is very bad, because usually in everyday speak when someone says, oh, I have a backlog of stuff, it sounds like they missed a deadline and really messed up, and now they have lots of extra things to do, or that they, you know, they broke something and need to fix something. So I don't know why you chose the word backlog. It just has a negative connotation, but it's just a, if you're ever confused by this name, the backlog is just a long-term to do and the sprint is the short-term to do, and you fill the short-term to do from the long one based on that, you know that, oh, I have a bit of time now to do stuff. And it's quite, I think if you do like solo development and just use a text file with like, I have this checked into my, it's in the root, in a directory in my Git repository. It's good to have a to do just like that, because having some kind of, you can use hack and plan, it's quite good for game dev, but, or you know, it's like a Jira that is not so bad, and it's made for game devs. You can check it out, but that's good if you have a team. But if you're yourself, then just use a todo.txt and move stuff around. It's you're gonna save time and it's gonna be more fun to work with. So it's better if you're doing games by yourself. I think you do whatever you want. But yeah, otherwise, if you want more, you can also try hack and plan if you want slightly more structure, but still hack and plan is like Jira, but it's quite good actually, and it's made specifically for game development. Git diff planet. I don't know in the planet. Oh, it's the egg. Oh, I like when I can, if I just remove the egg, do I get a clean diff? Like, I mean, I should, but it's just, yep. I like when you add something, you remove it, and nothing has even changed order in the file. Let's see here, some dialogue stuff, fix the 2-sentence stuff. Yeah, so this is essentially funny names for things. And what more did we do? You see, this is why I'm tired. I don't even know what I'm... And fix the dialogue. Scroll bar. And fixed squirrel dialogue about cut down tree. It repeated. Okay, push, push, push. We're done for today. Thank you for watching me clear my to-do list.